Tomorrow is WWDC, Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference, and today we'll be talking about what I want at WWDC and what is rumoured to be at WWDC. Now, starting with iOS. iOS 15, I want interactive widgets. I want themes. Now, themes is more of a so other people can just shut up and have them. That's a bit abrupt, but it's annoying hearing people go on about customization, being like, can't do this and that on iOS. Okay, just add them there, Apple, make money off of it. Split view multitasking. In my opinion, phones are too small for split view. Even big phones like the 11 Pro Max or the now 12 Pro Max, they're too small for multitasking like that. You don't really get much benefit out of it. There's probably been one or two situations where it would have been handy for me, but out of the whole year, one or two situations is not a lot. I just don't think there's really much of a benefit of having multitasking split view on a smartphone. It's not like a tablet where it's a huge display like this, where you can have multiple apps running side by side, no problem like that, and then have another one brought up on top of it. It has plenty of screen real estate so that you do all that. Like, see the difference between that size screen, this size screen? There's a difference. And there's a reason why it's not on the iPhone. Now, whether Apple add it or not, I don't know. If enough people ask for it, they'll probably add it. So, either way, I'd say just add it so then those people can have what they want. I probably wouldn't use it much anyways. Now, multicam support. Maybe make this like a pro mode feature in the camera or something. But we've had iPhones since 2016 with multiple cameras. I would like if they could add a multicam support where you would have multiple viewfinders in the camera app showing feed from each camera. Like I think it's Filmic Pro, is that the app that does that? I think Apple showed it with the 11 Pro Max. Like, build that into your own camera app, Apple. I would love that. That would be so handy and so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, just a quick one. Apple has support for postcodes in Apple Maps. Just add it. It's stupid. Google Maps has it. I'm sure every other Maps app has it. Just use it. Put it in. It's not that hard. Now, this is kind of like something I just came up with, but a reprogrammable Hey Siri. So, being able to change those keywords of Siri to whatever you like. So maybe Hey iPhone, or Hey iPad, Hey Mac, Hey HomePod, or just the quick ones I'm coming up with in my head. Just because, one, when I just said hey, it probably set off all your devices. So it would help for making videos and recording podcasts, so you don't have to worry too much about that unless you've kept the default command. But also, if you have multiple Apple devices and they're all running Siri, it is really irritating when you say Siri and all of them pick up and then one of them has to take priority. And for me, that's usually my HomePod. It's either my HomePod or my phone when it's between those two. It's really irritating when I want my HomePod to do it, because for some reason my HomePod picks up what I'm saying a lot better than my phone. It's able to understand me better than my phone, I don't know why. So 99% of the time I want my HomePod to pick up. But there is that 10% of the time where it doesn't, and the phone for whatever reason picks up. I think it's because sometimes it's closer to me. But I would like to be able to have two separate commands for the two separate devices. So then I go, hey HomePod, the HomePod picks up. Hey iPhone, the iPhone picks up. So then I don't have to remember a whole new command, just hey and then whatever device it is. Easy. It'd be nice to just be able to change that command and reprogram it to something else that would just make those things kind of easier. It would also make it easier because if one person in a room goes Siri and everyone's devices goes off, you used to make your own one, that won't happen either. Okay, so on to the rumored stuff for iOS. So iOS 15 isn't really going to be too major. iOS 14 was such a big overhaul. Maybe not overhaul, but such a big update that 15 was pretty much expected to not be that big and be a bit boring. But there's been a couple of new things in it. So the first one is notification profiles. So basically, say you're at work, you hit work, you set it to work, the notification profile, and then you only see notifications related to work, so like business emails or etc. So different profiles for different times, so like when you're in work, sleeping, etc. Just so you don't get bombarded with every single notification, you just get the relevant ones. The next one is the lock screen. The lock screen has been expected to have an update for the past few weeks. It's been leaked, and they've been doing things like changing the two default buttons at the bottom of the lock screen, the camera and torch buttons, icons. Things like the app notifications. Like there was rumors that it was just going to be like an app, like the app icon, and then a little notification bubble on top of it with the number, just to tell you, oh, you have this many notifications for this app. But apparently some features of that lock screen redesign has been delayed until future updates, so well, we'll see it next update, I guess. Redesigned notification banners. Now I don't know what to think about this, like in what way could you redesign the notification banners? Like, there isn't really much you can do to notification banners. You could make them look different, but I don't know. Functionality wise, maybe there's something you can do with them. I don't know. Now, iPados. Add widgets and make them interactive as well, because they didn't do that last year. iPadOS 14, they didn't give the iPad the widgets. Add the app library. Add the calculator, add the weather app, add the stocks app. And I just don't think we're going to get the calculator app ever. It's just become a point now where it's kind of like it's a meme. It's just like, oh, the iPad doesn't have the calculator app, ha ha ha. It's just like at this point they're like, you know what? We're just out of pure annoying our customers. We're just gonna never gonna put the calculator app on the iPad. Just to troll them. Improve Scribble. I use Scribble quite often, actually, nearly daily, and while I do love it, there are some things I need to improve. Sometimes I write S, it puts whatever random letter or number. Sometimes I write 5, it puts S, or it's just some letters and numbers for some reason just don't register. Then when I write a long sentence, it will sometimes get it mostly right, it will sometimes get it 50% right, the other half wrong. It's just kind of irritating when that happens, because then you have to redo it 5 times, and then just the whole point of it is that it makes your workflow more efficient, but then it just doesn't, because when you have to redo it 5 times, then you end up giving up and going back to the keyboard. It just makes it pointless. So they do need to improve it a little bit. It's a cool feature, I do really love it, I do use it on a really daily basis, but they need to improve it. If you want to see a video on Scribble solely, comment down below. As we were told last year, we were supposed to get Pro apps. So add Final Cut, Logic, Backstage, Motion, and just add them now. I would love for them to give it to the 2020 iPad, but there is a good chance it wouldn't be given to the 2020 iPad, since apparently modern Final Cut requires at least 8 gigs of RAM and the 2020 iPads only have 6. And the new iPad Pros with the M1 chip have been given 8 and 16 gigs of RAM. So this sounds like a good chance that you won't be getting it if you have anything older than an M1 iPad, which really sucks. I really hope that's not the case. If it is, it looks like I'm buying LumaFusion. Add windows and make those windows adjustable or like resizable, like on macOS. So getting the pencil and being able to resize or adjust or make them full screen, make them not full screen, and resize them and all that just will make multitasking so much better on the iPad. It's already great, but make it better. The Apple Pencil needs more support. It's really irritating when I'm in the middle of a workflow using the Apple Pencil and I need to move a window. I have like multiple windows open and I go to move a window out of the way and oh, guess what? It doesn't work with the Apple Pencil. That's so stupid. Why? Why? I have to use my finger. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal, and it probably really isn't, but it just breaks the workflow and like your flow generally as you're just like moving around with the pencil. You just want to quickly do this quick action, not to go, oh, pencil won't work, use finger. Like it's just really irritating. I've edited my thumbnails in Affinity Photo, and sometimes I'll have a Safari. Sometimes I'll have Safari open on top of Affinity to like get images and stuff, and it's really irritating that when I go to move it out of the way that I have to use my finger and not my Apple Pencil, because I'm using my Apple Pencil to do this stuff in Affinity Photo. Like it's annoying and it just breaks the workflow. And to go on from that, one, why can't you dismiss the apps on the left side of the iPad? You have to bring it all the way back over to the right side of the iPad. Like that's so silly and stupid. Well, I'd like to be able to dismiss them on the left and the right side. And make things a lot easier and better. On top of that, can we please be able to like bring up the dock and bring down Notification Center and the Control Center with the Apple Pencil? Whether it's using the Apple Pencil and dragging it like this down the screen or up like this for the dock, or whether it's being able to set a setting for the Apple Pencil to tap to trigger Notification Center, Control Center, or the dock. I'd like actually to add a triple tap and maybe a quadruple tap to the Apple Pencil as well. Like bring that so the double tap changes and depends on the application, but for example in Notes they'll go between whatever you're writing with and the rubber. If I could add a triple tap and a quadruple tap, I could have triple tap set to Control Center and quadruple tap set to dock. So then if I wanted to open up the dock, just 1, 2, 3, 4, dock pops up and use the pencil to just up over the Notes app, the multitasking. Like it'd be so much more fluid. So WatchOS. There's been this recent leak over the past few hours that this thing from the App Store, I can't remember the proper name of what it is, but somebody leaked in code that there's new apps coming to the Apple Watch App Store. So my new Mind app, which is kind of referencing back to last year with the whole mental health thing around iOS, where we were getting it for iOS 14, but it looks like we might be getting it this year. A Contacts app, which for the Apple Watch I guess makes sense, because you can text from it and call from it, so I guess it does make sense. That's really it. Like I haven't heard much more for WatchOS 8. Apple's been really good with keeping their OS features within Apple this year, or else they just genuinely have nothing, or nothing worth leaking. macOS, again, very little. Last year was a huge overhaul of macOS, like huge. So this year I wouldn't be surprised if it was just boring, maybe one or two boring features, and then just mainly bug fixes and smoothing things out, and like helping with improving apps support and stuff like that. I honestly wouldn't be surprised that macOS be quite boring this year. It's just, even like Gurman was very, very vague. He just said bug fixes and minor updates. Not even a feature list. Like, so again, Apple seems to keep these ones very, very under the hood, or they just again have nothing added to them that's of interest to us, or just not worth mentioning by the leaker. Now, this is an interesting one. HomeOS. This leaked in a job application from Apple. That obviously they were looking for someone for HomeOS, which obviously doesn't exist. So if you take an educated guess, HomeOS would be the OS that tvOS and HomePod would run off of, and maybe anything else connected to your home, making it a smart home. So HomeOS would probably signify something like the HomePod connecting to HomeOS, and the TV, Apple TV connecting to HomeOS or running HomeOS. And then whatever lights or thermometers, doors, locks, etc., etc. you have in your house, they all connect together with HomeOS in the Home app on the iPhone. I wouldn't be surprised if they just renamed them to that. Just as a few scatty bits for the software, and it's mainly Siri, to be honest. Make Siri better. Siri 1 needs to be smarter. 2, be able to do offline tasks. There are so many tasks that Siri can do that does not require an internet connection. She does not require an internet connection to call someone, to open apps, to play music unless you're streaming the music, show you information on the phone, like contacts, photos, videos, all those things. There's a lot of stuff that Siri could do without the internet that is done natively on the phone. Siri should be usable offline. Next is opening apps via Siri. When I go Siri, open messages. When I go Siri, open Twitter. My HomePod, as I said earlier, it takes priority, hears that and goes, sorry, I can't do that. And it's like, I wasn't asking you. I was asking me phone. So that gets really irritating. So what I would like to maybe, an easy way to get around that would be if the HomePod picks up and hears you say that, rather than going, I can't open that, or I can't do that. How about the HomePod talks to your phone and goes, hey, this person wants to open this app, and the phone, and then opens the app on the phone. And that would be pretty possible, since when you ask for search results off the HomePod, it sends them to your iPhone. So it would be pretty possible for Apple to do this way, where if the HomePod picks up that you're saying, hey, open this app, that it will go, okay, I can't do that, but I can send this command to the iPhone, tell the iPhone to do it. Because the iPhone is there, and that's most likely what he was talking to anyways. And the iPhone opens the app. That would solve that problem. Hardware. Now, WWDC is a software event, hence the name Worldwide Developers Conference. Now, while it's actually not the first time Apple has released hardware at WWDC, they did back in 2009 with the MacBook Pro, and then 3 years later in 2012 with the MacBook Pro again, with the Retina version of it, they released at WWDC. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they did, because it's a software focused event. They have also refreshed Macs in WWDC as well. So it's not a completely 100% no that could happen, but it's also not a completely 100% yes it can happen either. Now, whether it'll happen or not, like I've just said, I don't know. But if it does, this is the rumored hardware. The M1X. I experienced the M1 on the 13-inch MacBook Pro and oh my god, I love it so much. I loved it so much. So hopefully the M1X will be even better, because it's rumored to be getting 10 cores with 8 performance cores and 2 efficiency cores, and then a 16 core and a 32 core GPU. Now whether that'll be integrated like on the M1X or dedicated is still yet to be seen. I don't know which would be better. I also don't know what way they'll do that. Like whether they make their own dedicated graphics or they'll make it integrated. But after experiencing the M1, I am looking forward to the M1X. The X is going to be the performance one. So the hardware that the M1X is supposed to be going in is the 16-inch MacBook Pro, the 14-inch MacBook Pro, the iMac Pro, and a new redesigned Mac Mini. Now, the iMac Pro I would not expect here at all. I would expect that later in the year. And yes, they have revealed iMac Pro in 2017 in WWDC and Mac Pro in 2019 in WWDC, but they were not put up on sale until the end of the year. So they could do that this year, but they also may not. So there's two ways it could go. One, they just announce all the computers at WWDC and have them all ready for pre-order and probably go a bit later because of what's going on at the moment and the chip shortage and those things. So, or they don't announce them at all at WWDC and then have an event later on in the year focused on just Macs. Because think about it. M1X Mac Mini, 16-inch, 14-inch MacBook Pro, iMac Pro. And then there's also, this one's quieted down a bit more, but there's also rumoured a new Thunderbolt monitor, which would be so nice. Because the Pro Display XDR is expensive as boop. And just, it's a great monitor, but oh my god, it's expensive. A more consumer-based monitor that's like 1,000, 1,500 would be nice. So I would like that to be revealed, but there hasn't been many rumours about that, so I wouldn't be too excited about that. But if they do, I am definitely going to think about buying one with the 16-inch MacBook Pro. So, yeah. Now, one thing that some people have said is that they might release the new MacBook Pro redesigns in a press release because they don't want to admit they were wrong with the removal of the touch bar and the adding back of HDMI and SD card slot and bringing back the MagSafe port. I honestly don't think they would do that. Like, if there's going to be a redesign of the computer and they're going to have a whole new chip to talk about, they're going to talk about it on stage. They're not going to do it in a press release. The M1X is going to be a multitude times more powerful than the M1. And if the MacBooks are actually being redesigned, they're going to want to talk about that, especially if they have mini LED in the screens. Like, they announced a €1,000 stand. They did it pretty quickly. It was like 1,000 stand. But if they're willing to do that, then they're willing to do the same thing with the MacBook about, oh yeah, we removed the touch bar, put back function keys. Next slide. Oh yeah, we added back HDMI, SD card slot and MagSafe. Next slide. Like, they might just do that. At the end of the day, I don't know whether to expect these at WWDC or not. But yeah, that's all I have for today. So, in the comments down below, tell me what you want at WWDC and what you are excited for at WWDC. And don't forget to follow me on my socials. I'll have them down below, linked down below in the description box. I'll also have in the description box is the podcast TechCast that I do with my friend Connor. It is just basically a tech podcast where we talk our thoughts. That's a podcast. That's what you do in a podcast. But yeah, follow TechCast and follow us on whatever platform you listen to your podcasts on. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So go follow us on that. Listen to our podcast. And don't forget to subscribe, share and like the video. Ciao tutti! Bye everyone!